Hello and welcome to lab number 1. So for those of you who didn't get very far in class on the lab, I'm going to quickly take you through the first, maybe third of the lab because I want you to get this done before coming to class, right? So I'm in Canvas, so these were the instructions I asked you to print, right? I asked you to read this first page. If you've never used Excel before, it talks about the general format we use when typing in a function into Excel. We always type the equal, function name, and then we give it a range where it's the first cell, colon, the second cell. And there's a couple different ways we can do that. So we're going to create a frequency distribution table using the COUNTIF function. So again, here are the actual directions. Download and open the stat survey results fixed to fall 2019 Excel file, which you can find in your Canvas course. Files, which is where I'm at right here. Labs, descriptive statistics labs, and then this is the, again, instructions and worksheet that you hopefully already printed. Here's the survey. I'm going to just download it onto my computer. I'm then going to open it, and the very first thing you're going to do when you open it, all right, let me get the instructions back here. When you open up this Excel file, as it's thinking, and where did you go? Excel file. So let's go look at downloads in my folder, downloads. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Very first thing, oh, I just opened it a second time. All right. The very first thing you're going to want to do once it opens up is you should see at the very top here, enable editing. So enable editing, all right? And then what do our instructions say? Let's pull this over to the side. I'm trying to split my screen view so that way you can see what I see, and we can look at the directions at the same time. No, Excel, don't do that. All right, so again, no. I give up. All right, what you should see in your Excel file is a whole bunch of information, right? And what does it say, right? Open the file, look at the tabs on the bottom, click on the tab called Qualitative and scroll to the bottom. So here's Qualitative, and I'm going to just scroll all the way down to the bottom, and voila, I've created tables, frequency distribution tables for you to fill in. So click on cell B268. Here's B. There's 268, so I just clicked on it. And use the COUNTIF formula to count how many times someone replied with eldest child in your family. Hint, the first thing you should type is an equal sign. Okay, so I'm going to type equals. What is the range of cells where all the responses are? B2 to B what? Well, okay, so equal, the first thing I have to type is COUNTIF, parentheses. And you can see down here it's prompting me for the range. So I want B2 to B, and then where does it end? This guy right here is at 265. Oh, and do you see how that all highlighted in blue? Yes, all highlighting in blue shows that that is the range. I've included everything. If I scroll all the way back up, I can see I've included everything. And I go from B2 because B1 has the question, are you the, what, oldest child in your family, youngest child, none of the above, blah, blah, blah. So there's my range. Now I need my criteria. So I type a comma and criteria. So what does it say in the directions? Finally, for the criteria, instead of typing the words eldest child in your family, how about you select a cell that has that typed in it, like B264. What's in B264? So here's 264. B264 has the eldest child in your family. Oh, and I just clicked on it, and that automatically put that cell name in for the criteria. I close my parentheses, I hit enter, and there are 99. All right, so use what you've just learned to fill out all the cells below B268. So where's 268? That's what I just filled in. So I need to fill in all the rest of these cells. So what am I going to do? Again, I'm going to use the count if. My range is B2 to, again, I can even just click here, B256. That's my range. My criteria, youngest child in my family, youngest child in your family, well, that's also B265. I see those words right there. Close my parentheses, 83 of them equals count if, parentheses, B2 through B265. Again, you can type it or click it. And I am the only child. I see that right here on 249. So that's my criteria. Enter. All right, and I will let you do this last one yourself. I'm going to type in a bogus number right now. 2.3. Whoa, nope, just kidding. Scroll back up. I accidentally hit the down page. So I'm going to type in something bogus just to have a number in there for the moment. But clearly, 2.3 people did not say none of the above. But you have to do this yourself. But what I want to do now is show you how to create a bar graph, which Excel calls a column chart. So once you have filled in the chart, select the title, category names, and frequency. So what do I mean by select? I mean do this. Take your mouse. Here's birth order. That's the chart title. I'm going to click on birth order and hold down. Hold the click. And then I'm going to drag down and over. So I have highlighted everything. Now the very first cell you click on isn't going to look like it's highlighted, but it is. Do you see this green border around it? That's showing me that I have selected my chart title, my categories, and my frequencies. Then if I go to insert, and depending on if you're using a PC or a Mac, Excel might look slightly differently. So look for insert, and you're going to look for charts, right? Specifically this one, insert a bar chart or bar graph, which they call column. If I click on that, it's going to be the very first one right here, clustered column. So I click on clustered column. That's what it's saying right there, right? Your bar graph should appear, right? And again, this is not accurate because were there 2.3 people who said none of the above? No. But if I were to get the correct answer, this is also not correct, but let's say there was 100, right? Look at what automatically happened to my bar chart. Isn't that awesome? Because Excel is taking, when I click on this, you can see Excel is taking this information to create this chart. So if you change this, right, if you actually do equals count if B2 to B, let's say I make a mistake and do only B to B100. Now, that's not going to include everything, right? Quote, none of the above. Criteria. Oh, it's even telling me there's something wrong, right? Name, none of the above. That doesn't make sense. It's because it's count if. 19. Again, that is also not correct, right? So make sure you're doing the correct. What's wrong with this is you can see if you scroll up, my blue, right? I'm only counting the first 100 values here, right? I'm only checking in the first 100 values. It really should be checking all the way down. But the point is I want you to see how to make the bar graph. So another way to represent qualitative data is with pie charts. So what you're going to do is you're going to take what you've learned. All right, I'm just going to delete that because it's wrong. All right, you're going to take what you learned and do something similar over here for the stem, non-stem, right? You're going to use your count if function. For right now, I'm just going to say 1, 2, 3. Just bogus numbers. Because again, click, hold, scroll down, scroll over to highlight to select the chart title, category, and frequencies. Insert pie. All right, so I'm going to go to insert again. And I want to choose one that looks like a pie chart. This one right here, pie. And then I choose the very first one that looks like a pie. And you can see what, again, 1, 2, and 3 in this case. Something else you can do is over here where it's design, right? You can choose different designs. And I personally prefer the ones that give the percents, give the sample proportions. Ooh, keyword there. So I'll leave that, scroll this down over here, and scrolling over, I want to talk about, scroll our instructions down. All right, now look at the bottom of column H. Do you have a tattoo? And use the COUNTIF function to count how many students said yes. All right, I feel like you all know how to do that. Now, in this data set, we had 264 people, but what if not everyone answered that question? To count the number of actual responses, we're going to use the count A function. See if you can figure out how to use this. So total number of responses, right here. If I say equals COUNTA, count A, it counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. Okay, so if I type up parentheses, it's listing value 1, value 2, or again, I can give it a range. Now, do I want to do B2 through B265? Is that what I want to do? Notice, if I do that, what just got highlighted? My B column! I don't want to count in B. I want to count in where? I want to count in H. So I'm going to change this to H, change this to H, and I'm just counting all of the cells that have something written in them. Who responded? Oh, look, 264 people. Yay! So pretend this is a number, 5. Again, it is not 5. What are you going to use here? You're going to use the COUNTIF function to count how many said yes. But the proportions, right? To compute the proportion of yes responses, we need Excel to divide the frequency of yes responses by the total number of responses. To make Excel do this, type and equal sign? No, that's a typo. Type the equal sign first. So right here, proportion of yes responses equals. Then the cell with the frequency of yes. So which cell has my frequency of yes? This guy right here, H268. Then the divided by symbol. All right, slash. And then the cell with the total number of responses. That was this guy right here, H269. And I'm going to hit enter. All right, now again, this is not the correct proportion because there were way more than 5 people who said yes. All right? But when it comes to proportions, sample proportions specifically, we typically only want to keep 3 decimal places. So something you can do is over here where it says number, right here you've got decimal increase or decrease. So if I click down, 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 now I've got 1, 2, 3 decimal places that have been rounded. And what you should have seen there is, right, it was 0.189. That 9 would round that 8 up, so when I go to 3 decimal places, that's what I get. How do we find the proportion of no responses? Well, if you type equals, and think about this. This here, it's not 19%, it's actually 1.9%. It's very, very small, right? How would I find the opposite of that? Well, let's say for a second that this was 30%. If 30% said yes, what percent said no? If you said 70%, you're right. And how'd you get that? You subtracted from 100%. So in decimals, we don't say percent, but we'd say 1 whole minus that percent will give us our complement percent. So again, if this is only 1.9% or about 2%, right here we're going to have 98%, 98.1%. So that's how we get our proportions. Right? Can you figure out how to find all the rest of the sample proportions? Oh, it is so fabulous. What did I just do? I highlighted all this, I moved my mouse over here, and if I just scroll over, what is that going to do? Well, looky here. The count A function just got copied and pasted. If I look here, my divided by, this guy divided by that guy just got pasted. This guy, 1 minus the guy before just got pasted. And then this guy, what happened? Well, Excel didn't know what I was supposed to do, so it just counted up by 1. Again, if what you have here is actually an equals countif what range? H2 to H, what do we got there? 265. And we want the criteria yes. Now, notice those just got fixed, and these are now all correct, but this guy did not, right? If you want him to be correct, copy him back over again like that, and that'll fix that. And you can do that for all the rest of those. You're going to use a similar trick on the next set, right? If you haven't clicked on the Quantitative tab at the bottom of the Excel spreadsheet, do that now and scroll to the bottom. So finish this up, click over to Quantitative, and then scroll to the bottom, and you're going to be doing a lot more with Excel using all of these functions up here. But hopefully that's enough to get you started. So get as much of this done. We're not going to have a whole lot of time in class to finish this up, if any, so try and get it all done. And ideally, you can just show me your Excel file, I can initial it off, and then you'll be